Is it dead? Can it be revived? What's going on here? Oh, I think we can tackle it. I think we could take this on. Litespeed, titanium. Who are you after this?
Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging out with a guy. Hi, I'm Justin the Guy. Obviously I have a garage shop. Take scary out of used, one bike at a time. If you want to be kept up to date on latest projects and topics, please like and subscribe.
Welcome back to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging with a guy. Hey, I'm Justin the Guy on this old bike series. Today we have a beautiful Litespeed titanium road bike with Ultegra with kind of a little change up in the back here, and I'll go over that in a few minutes, but they made it kind of like a 2x with a wider spread by using mountain bike componentry. Yeah, and with aero bars. This particular person does apparently a lot of tries, and we're going to dive into the maintenance of this tri bike, and let's get it up to speed to freshen up for the next season after this. Here we are back at it, taking scary out of used, one bike at a time. Yeah, we are working on this particular beauty of a beast. Had a lot of miles. It's been used quite often, and yes, it's in for a tune-up. And this is the time of year we're going to be going through a lot of these bikes and get them all up to race ready, ride ready for the season, from a novice rider for recreational riding to, you guessed it, the racers. Yeah, this is the time of year where people start to dive into their bikes, get them worked on, get them ready to go, that kind of thing. When this particular person dropped off this bike, obviously I go through it and kind of do a little test and check, like either the chain has been stretched, and I have a little chain checker here. We check that, and it's at 0.5, so that person could probably get another, probably half a season, depending how many miles, of course, but we'll do a cleanup on the chain and cassette. This is in it for a standard tune, so your lower end tune up, but I'm going to elevate the tune and kind of supersize it with a little bit of a drivetrain clean, a little detailing of the frame, cleaning up some of this scarring that it has on there just by hand polishing. Just get it to, a little bit more to its original state of awesomeness. So we're going to dive in. What's kind of cool is the heads, carbon rear wheel. Can't true them, but we definitely need to adjust the brakes so they're not rubbing against that rim. That's just off a little bit. Looking at this rear derailleur is kind of interesting. We have a Dior rear derailleur, which is actually a mountain bike derailleur. The reason being is they put in a longer cage derailleur to accommodate a wider range of gears. When they're doing their particular rides or events or training, whatever they're using this particular bike for, they're finding they needed a little bit wider, lower gearing to do some of those climbs. Well, this particular one does not have a triple, so you're stuck with a double. There lies the industry changes that we're faced with today. A lot of the companies are going with new, and they're only doing 2x or 1x up front. In my opinion, that is very limiting your ability to do a lot of big hill riding and so forth, or you're forcing those people to do e-bikes. It's kind of, why get rid of the triple? I mean, it was awesome for, 3 decades, and you decided, no, it's not good anymore. We don't want this. Yeah, well, technological advancements of the high-end elitist type riding to, it really kind of suffers the regular everyday Joe that wants to just ride a bike and have a good time. Yeah, killing the triple on a road and also on mountain bikes, I think it's just, it goes against it. Yeah, they got some benefits to it, but you got to distinguish bike componentry lines from like recreational and also more race ready. So instead of having, trying to do all with everything, if they split it up a little more evenly on the particular focus on the rider and not the product that they're trying to produce. Take a note, Specialized, Trek, Pond, whoever's out there listening to this. Those are one of those things. We need recreational groups, then we need high-end groups for those who are racing and that kind of thing. In a recreational group, it should be interchangeable. So if you want to put a triple on a double and all that kind of stuff, it should work. You would think that would behoove you to sell more parts as aftermarket a few years later on down the road. Now they're pigeonholing themselves into a very tight corner where you're kind of stuck. If you're buying that $5,000 road bike and you want to do some changes, you got to change the whole thing. That's if you can in the first place or in the second place, or what's going to be available then. Who knows? But I love these kind of classics because, yeah, it's a mountain bike trailer. It works well with Ultegra. Go figure, huh? I mean, this person did the retrofit to modernize it to what it is, the newer ones today, without that, yeah, you heard me, without that $5,000 to $10,000 lift. So this particular bike is still relevant today, if not so, more so is the value. You're talking about a titanium frame with a great range of componentry. And heck, it serves a person really well. This is that person's second bike. They have another one. They actually do more racing or daytime riding. This became like a trainer type bike. But hey, at the end of the day, these bikes are still solid and relevant. Go figure, right? I know. You're talking about some old kook, you know, in a garage talking about older bikes, but I've been around. I've worked on a lot of, I worked on a lot of new too. So, hey, it is what it is to me. All right, let's just dive into this beauty. All right, let's attack this from the back end here. We're talking about the chain, cassette. I want to get those off. Possibly, maybe cleaning that derailleur up a little bit, at least on the bike, and possibly the crankset. These cables are kind of short, so I may get them on a cable here, but the chains seem to be okay. And I like a little bit longer tag tails here, especially on the front, so I can loop it and zip it. And this one I can pull through. This one's, you know, they've kind of run their course. Not to say they're still, one's still pretty good. So anywho, let's dive in. And what I want to do is knock this down to the smallest cog. Now it gets it out of the way so I can drop the wheel out. And there's a release on the brake. Most brakes will have a quick release except for disc. And then you pull the hanger down and boom, there you go. All right, we're gonna look at this chain and see if I can find myself a quick link or a power link, which is right here. And with this guy, we're gonna pop her open using the Park tool. Come on, there you go. And this particular type is a little different. It's like an up and over kind of design. These a little bit easier to put on and off. But we're gonna start staging my ultrasonic cleaner and getting the basket ready to clean all this goodiness. Checking this guy out. I mean, definitely needs some good cleanup for sure. It's been through a lot of, I would say, quite a few events. I mean, it's seen some miles. This bike definitely tells some stories for sure. You know, triathlons, they do a lot of traveling with tries and going to their events sometimes. So that case may be. It's probably seen more states than I have. So you got this cassette lock ring tool. I got a chain whip to hold the cassette. I use the ground as leverage. Basically, I'm just pushing this around so I can get that lock ring to loosen up. There we go. And what we got here is when you pull that off is you got your freewheel. You want to make sure it doesn't have any contaminants. And this one has a spacer, kind of making sure it pushes it over. Sometimes they'll have these little spacers here. You want to be mindful of those, make sure you don't lose track of it. This way now I can get into this wheel, clean up all this back behind the cassette stuff, and double check that hub and the free hub body. Feels pretty smooth for the age on it. Look at that, it's so cool. I always like these carbon wheels. Pretty trick. So yeah, I decided to go ahead and get a new cable on this. I think I can still reuse the housing, but the reason being is they're a little too short, and I want to clean these derailleurs. They're too dirty for me, and in order to do that, I need to remove them. So I can put them into the ultrasonic cleaner and get all that gunk off. It's kind of like one of those scenarios where if I can't do the job right, I'm not going to do the job at all. And in this case, I'm going to do it right and try to develop a good rapport with this customer. It's a newer customer, so. All right, for these derailleurs, this is the fun gooey stuff. There's this build-up Teflon, old grease, and you use a screwdriver, kind of peel that off the jockey pulleys. And you could also disassemble the pulleys completely. And I do that with my upper end tunes. But for just a quick clean, this is what I'm going to do with this guy. Still gives it a pretty refresh. Still going to perform a lot better. And you know, that's why there's different levels of tune-ups in my realm. You have different levels of professionalism, but even at the lower end one, you're still going to get a high grade tune. So I'm trying to get all that dirt and gunk out, and the only way to do that is put an ultrasonic cleaner or a sonic tank. Here we go with the front. First, want to release the cable. I want to be able to get into this area here and give it a good cleanup. Going to have to remove this bottle cage to get to it. Did notice when I'm looking at it here, it has a boogered up bottle mount. So I'm going to reach out to the customer and say, hey, and I know it's a trainer bike, so I think it just sits on the trainer. If she wants to have me spend the time and money to replace that and fix it, I'm more than happy to do it. But I just don't know if she actually uses it. So if she doesn't use it at this particular juncture of time, then it's probably no need to change it out. So what I need to do is get this derailleur free, and by doing that I have to release this cage so it could be free. And I can see by a lot of like mineral deposit contaminants something's going on here. And what they used is it's a good trick, using Presto valve grommets to bump out that cage to go over this band clamp. So we're gonna give these a good little cleaning too. While I'm just so now, see all that kind of corrosion? Tells me there's a lot going on in here. Yeah, this definitely needs some TLC, and what I want to try to do is get rid of all this obscene amount of gunk. This could be body salt from sweat, or it could be salt water from a vent. I don't know. Guess we'll find out. Well, I've done it now. Got to keep going, right? Let's just get this guy all cleaned up, just to make it right. I just feel like I have to get it done. So we're gonna get the pedals off, so it's a little bit easier to clean the crank set. And the pedals are not on there very tight, so that would tell me that they weren't on there for a very long time. So they're using this for a trainer wreck bike, which is perfectly good. All right, this is right in the nose. This has 2 bolts on each side, so to get into it, you need to loosen up both to release this crank arm, and then the whole thing just slides out. But you got to unscrew these equally, so distribute the pressure on both sides and back them off a few threads, and I use a torque wrench to tighten that back up to 10 to 14 Newton meters, what it says on the side here. And then, so now you use this little guy to get in here. Oop, out of my face. This is the adjuster cap. If it still has its plastic thingy in here, but don't think it does. I think it's just, yep, it's missing it, so I don't need the little hooky deal. Be mindful of these little spacers though. If you have these, you gotta make sure you put them back on there. And what you do is you kind of force it through. Keep track of that spacer. See how dirty and gingy it is? Ugh. Let's make that better. If we can get it off. Boop. Ha ha. Yuck. Yee. Yuck. Okay. Let's hope we get that all off. All right. So while we're down here, we're going to take this little guy off. is that way we can get clean underneath this binder bracket and clean up the guide. All right, now do the front, flip the switch, take the skewer out, get the front wheel off. This time I'm just gonna take the skewer out, give that a little ultrasonic cleaning as well. And you know, it's kind of satisfying as a mechanic, to be honest, to work on dirty bikes, because we feel like we do the most improvement. Ooh, that has a weird grease, like farmer grease that they put on tractors. Smell to it. Wow, that puts me back in the day. Yeah, when I say back in the day, it's a little known fact, I grew up on a farm. Yeah, out in Brush, Colorado, out there in the sticks. Yeah, my grandparents had a farm, grew on there, lived there on the farm for a couple years, and worked the farm too. And yeah, well, they had horses and cattle, and grew corn, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's one of those things. Good old days, hard work. With all that pasture that we had, if I still had that property, they had 500 acres at the time, I would have taken one of the tractors, carved me out a nice old pump track, and taken my BMX bike out there, or modern day mountain bike, and have myself a grand old time. But at the time, neither of those things were that popular. So, well, I'm going to just dive into this and give her a good cleaning and kind of inspect as I'm polishing this frame and doing the ooh and on. It has a good level of kind of corrosion that got underneath this kind of clear coat. We'll see what a little bit of polish and elbow grease can do. Get this thing a little more up to speed. So, it's an awesome bike. It's been a while. It needs some loving. So we're gonna give it some loving. So after I do the frame, clean that up. Also clean the componentry and true the wheels. Well, the front wheel, the rear wheel I can't true, but I'll inspect and clean the wheel itself and check the tires. Make sure everything is adequately ready to go, and go from there. But yeah, we'll review the parts after this and check out the frame while I'm still just ooh and on and trying to make it pretty. Oh, yeah, going in deep. So the beauty of the ultrasonic cleaner is I can have my parts basically cook and get cleaned, or at least a couple layers of cleaning, and I can still proceed to do other things, which is super nice when you're a one guy person and just kind of working on one bike at a time. But it also develops a super efficiency and also getting those parts super clean, which is really the biggest benefit out of it. Oh yeah, these are handmade in the United States. Still has this titanium sticker on here. It has a little bit of a paper we can take as either white lightnings, clean streak, or I use carb cleaner or brake cleaner. Just a little dab on a rag, and that will make that gunk go away. But you want to be very careful, because you want to use that all over, because it'll sometimes take off decaling and so forth. Then you just give it a good once over cleaning. So to prep this frame, well, the first step is getting most of the grease off by using Purple Power diluted with water. So that's one of my tricks. And the second one is I use the surface cleaner after I get most of that gunk off to kind of prep the frame or the paint or clear coat in this case for putting on either a ceramic coating or a polish of some sort. So that's where it's really beneficial to kind of prep the surface for those. A little extra added detail, and I'll actually protect the frame, and also give a little UV protection as well, and also just makes the water, and in this case maybe sweat, just drip right off and not settle and start corroding certain areas or aspects of the bike. So we're going to dive right into this. So I use the lithium hyper cleanse all purpose. This could be used on a lot of different things, but just want to get that most of the surface, that extra cleaning, especially underneath. That's where a lot of gunk likes to settle, and you want a little extra protection underneath there too. So that helps to shed water, any kind of contaminants. And yeah, it's like when you think it's clean and you want to go and use this, it's like, oh, okay, there's a whole new layer of dirt that I need to remove. I didn't know. I thought it was clean, and now it's like supersonic microchromic clean. If I even said that right, probably not. But anywho, but yeah, that's just what I do to kind of give a bike an extra layer of life and protection for its next go around, and hopefully the owners appreciate it on the bikes that I do sell and the ones I do my magic tune-up on. Yeah, that's really, titanium's so pretty. I just sit in awe. I love these kind of bikes. So fun. So fun to work on. They're so fun to ride. Yeah. All right. Well, after this, clean the wheels, see how the parts turned out. So here we have, woo, look how clean that cassette came out. Oh, the chain. Oh, that crankset. Yeah, that's as much better than it was before, wasn't it? The derailleurs came out pretty good. Just need to do some little light lubing. Skewers the two. And the front wheel shined up. It's true. Pretty good shape. And wait, missing a wheel. Oh yeah. Well, I decided to get a little crazy with this. Did some lithium cleaner and cleaned the surface of that and got those decals completely cleaned up. I mean, yeah, there's a couple little scarring, but they are definitely clean with that. And you notice that shine? You guessed it, put some ceramic coating on there from lithium. So let's just take a peek here what this ceramic does. You see, did 2 layers and had a little bit of haze. Oh my goodness, look at that. That just brings out the shine of the carbon. Oh boy. Yeah, check that out. Give it a good massage there. Oh, I could use massage too. Look how shiny that is. Well, it does protect as well as gives it a good shine. So if there's any water or anything they splash through, it's less likely to stay and it's going to kind of shed right off. Well, we did the same thing to this beautiful tie frame. And looking here, yeah, see there's kind of like a dullness when you do the ceramic. That once you take your cloth, oh, see that shine? Shine is unmistakably beautiful. Got all those little bits. Yep. Yeah, let's review. Check this thing out. Chin fat. Well, man, I've been into detailing the last good part of the year of digging into bike componentry and polishing. That ceramic coating is just making things just almost like new, like a high gloss, like it's like liquid. Wow, that is pretty amazing. And just knowing that it has that protection, added layer of just shedding water and grit, and that makes it, guess what, easier for me to work on next time when I do a cleaning. That stuff comes right off. So yeah, beautiful frame, componentry, swapped out one cable, switch out with the other. We're gonna get this thing back together. And I don't foresee anything major except for that bottom out grommet, which I'll contact them tonight, see if they want me to cut out the old one and put a new one in there. Once you get it out, it's not hard to put a new grommet in there. It's just getting the old one out without scratching the frame is usually the biggest thing. So anywho, thanks for hanging out with me. Check out these beautiful pictures. Smash the buttons below if you like videos like this and dig this kind of vibe. And yeah, from the garage, until next time, if it's beautiful in your neck of the woods, go for a ride. Please go for a ride. But before you go, check out these beautiful pictures in the sun. Oh, just can't wait to do it. Do it now.